Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to build a simple to-do app using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So without wasting any of your time, let's get started. So on the screen, I have an empty folder called to do YouTube, right? So I'm using VS Code. You can use whichever text editor that you like. You can even use Notepad. So I have an empty folder called to do YouTube. So what I would like us to start with is like started by organizing our folders, right? So let's have a folder called styles, and then inside this folder we're gonna have a file called main.css. This we're gonna have our css file, right? All the css styling, we're gonna have it inside this file, and we're gonna also have a we're gonna have uh a js file folder, and then inside here we can have a file called app.js.javascript, right? And then we also need, lastly, we also need a full file called index.html. Boom. So once you have this, you can use the shortcuts coming from Emmet. It's an extension for VS Code. So once I have an exclamation mark here, I can hit enter. You see, it gives me the boilerplate for HTML. So I won't really be uh, talking a lot more about these tags, but for now let's just focus on the most important stuff for this video, right? And then here we have a title. We can call this file the web page to do app. So this is the title of your web page or your HTML file. And then inside this this head tag, you can link this HTML file with your CSS or your JavaScript, right? So let's start by linking this HTML file with the CSS that is inside here. So right, we have styles folder, and then under it we have main.css. So let's link it by say href attribute. We're gonna use this attribute and say no, we go into styles and we want this file. And then we also need this to specify that this is a style sheet, right? And we can close this tag, and then we also wanna link it with our JavaScript file, right? And then do you see, like, linking a CSS file is different to linking a JavaScript file. So when you're linking your HTML file with the JavaScript, you're gonna use the script tag, and then you're gonna say, oh, here's another way. You can actually write your JavaScript code between these two tags, or alternatively, you just need to link this script tag with where your actual file is. So let's just say you want to put your JavaScript code inside its own file, so you just use this src right attribute, and then you link it with your JavaScript file, and then ours is inside here. We called it app.js, right? So that's all we need in the head tag. So let's move on to our body tag. So everything that we write in our body tag, you can actually see it on your web browser, right? Well, most of the stuff, right? So let's have a container, right? So I'm using the Emmet shortcut. So using the period and then the name. The name will be actually the class name of the div. So, or if you want to give it the ID, you just say ID. So this is the div with the ID name. But if you want to give it a class, you're gonna use, you see now it's a div with a class name called name. But here, moving on, So we need to keep track of the changes that we make in the HTML file, right? So let's do this. Let me show you something. You need to install something called a live server, right? Live server. Here I have it installed on my machine. You just need to install it on yours. So what this extension helps us with is that whenever you make a change to this HTML file, it will automatically refresh your web browser without having to refresh manually every time you make a change. So let me say open with live service. Gonna open our browser, and then this is our HTML file, right? So whenever we make a change in our HTML file, we won't really have to come here and refresh this. It will automatically refresh, right? So let me make it smaller so we can see. Right, so whenever I make a change in here, let me show you. H1, welcome to technology. Whenever I save, it automatically refreshes, and it shows you the changes that you made, right? Amazing stuff. So let's have our heading, right? We're gonna have another div called heading, and then in here we can have a h3 or h4, whatever. I'm gonna call it to do app, and then that's all we need in here. This is our heading, and then we're gonna have a form. The form is gonna have an input where you're gonna input your to do, and then the button to click and say you are done, right? So let's have a form, and then we say you can use the HTML tag and the period again and give it a class name, right? So we can say add form, right? You see we already have a class with the name add form. Great. And then we need to have the input with type text, because we're gonna be using, we don't need a date or time or file, right? So we're just gonna use text. And then in here we have a button. We're gonna say add to do, and then we also need to have a list of the items that you just added, right? So you have a UL is just an ordered list, right? So an ordered list with a class name called to do items, and then the list item, we're gonna give it the name of to do item. And then here we have the actual to do, what you actually need to do the dishes. And we also need a button to delete this to do. So whenever you wanna delete this to do the dishes, you just have to click this X button, right? So let's say you're done with this to do, so you need to like write it off, so you just need to delete it. And then let's add another one, say what, link up with friends. Oh no, let me save and see if everything is in order. Boom, yeah, we have everything in order, right? So I would say we are basically done with our HTML file for now. So let's move to our CSS and start with the styling, right? So let me come here, and then let me reset the stuff. So this select will select everything on the web page, right? We're gonna reset the padding, the margin, also the box, border box, right? Oh, my mind. It's box sizing. So box sizing, I'm gonna reset it also to the border box, right? So we have this. When we save, you see now, because we resetted everything is just so together. Like the to do the h4 here no longer has its original padding. We resetted it. So we're gonna start with the container, or let's just start with the body tag, so we can like center everything. We're gonna say what? Okay, inside the body tag we're gonna have a display. Let's say display flags, and put everything in center. Justify content center, and then align items center. So vertically and horizontally we want the stuff center, in center. You see, we have it here. And then we also can say the height of this body, let's say 100 v height, right? Let's see, we have it here. Let's for now put it on 80 or 70. Cool, I think now it's perfect. So inside the container we're gonna have a border box, a border of 1 pixel, solid, and which color? Let's see, red. Let's just say red for now. So we have this color is ugly. Let's just choose something random. Yeah, I think this one is perfect here. Cool. So we have this. Let's give it the padding of 10 pixels. Cool. Also let's move to the heading, right? The background, let's change the background to actually this color, and then the color of the items within this heading, we want to make it white. And then let's add some padding. Yo, I don't know why I like 10 pixels so much. Okay, so everything seems okay. Margin is okay, I guess, but put it let's put space between this heading and the stuff here, so we can say margin bottom. Okay, cool. But this container, let's see if we can increase the size of this container to 300 pixels. 4. I think it's okay. Here 50. Cool. And then I think we need to just text align, put everything in center. I think it's okay. So let's dial the input and also the button, right? So let's come here and see what's going on. We have a form called, or a form with a class called add form. So that's how we can actually select these. Or you can just say, you can simply do input, since we don't have any other input on our form or on our HTML file. So you can just simply use this. But if you have more than one input and then you wanted it to be like styled differently, so whenever you use this, it's gonna select every input tag on your web page, and then it's gonna style it with the same style. So for us, we just wanna specify that we are selecting this one under the form called add form. Is it add form, right? Let's verify it. Yes, add form. So in here, let's add some padding 10. Cool. I think we also need to give the same. Okay, let's just do this for now, and then uh let's see, it's okay, we don't want the outline. So I think it's a perfect, it's perfect for now. Let's see, border 1 pixel solid, and then just gonna use this color we've been using everywhere. Cool, right? And then we also need to style our button, right? So since this style seems like we're gonna use it even on the button, you can just apply it like this, add form, and then this button in here, you just save. So it's gonna be the same styling, but since we don't want, we want to style the background of this add to do button, but we don't want to add, we don't want to style this input background, so we just need to specify that now we are dealing with the add form button background color is gonna be white. Boom. Yeah, I think it's okay, right? So now let's deal with the list items. Okay, I think everything is coming all right so far. uh it was to do items, the list style, since we are dealing with an add ordered list, right? So we don't need these bullet points. Say, let's say none, and then we want, let's say, margin between this input and also this to do this, add it 10 again. Okay, it's okay. Since it seems okay, right? Also let's do to do item, and yeah, add margin too, so we can like have a bit of space between these list items, right? So 10 up and down, but here we need to put 0, I guess. Yes. Also in here we have a button called delete. Wait, did we style it? No. So this button needs to have a class name called delete to do, because we want to style it with a color red. Delete to do, sorry. And then in here you come back, we have delete to do, and then we make the background. Wait, let's see. We don't want the border, and also maybe make the color white. Oh, it seems let's make the padding, no, not 10 again, 5. Yeah, seems like it's okay. So, and then you click the add to do, and then it's supposed to edit here. Cool. So wait, also let me make this the container a bit long, because it seems short, right? Let's add the height and make it what, 40 VH. I don't know, we just see. Or 70, ah, 50. Yeah, okay. I think now we are actually like done with the styling. I don't know if you are happy with this, but I'm pretty happy about it. And also I just want to show you, I just want to add, because this font is depressing, I just want to import a Google font called what is this, what is it called? I want to import a Google font, so we can have something better than this. So tell me in the comments down below if you want to know how to import Google Fonts, right? And then I'll make a video, a short video, because it's so simple to do this. And then we can apply the font family everywhere. Boom. Yeah, now the font looks pretty, right? And also, so yeah, I think we are done in here, aren't we? Or maybe let me see something. Where's the input? So add form that input. I wanna make it with 75%. Let's see if we will take the 75% with. Oh no, look at this. This seems so imperfect. Let's make it 77. Whatever. Yeah, it's okay now. I think now it's okay. So let's move to the functionality, because you can see now when I click add to do, nothing happens, right, except it refreshes. So let's come here in the JS file, right? So let's select a few stuff on our HTML file. Let's start with the UL to do's document. You can use the document this, and then you can use the query selector to select whichever element you wanna select on your HTML file, or you can also use get element by class name or get element by ID, right? So we're just gonna use the query selector, and then so there's a query selector all, and then there's query selector, and then query selector all will select everything that matches whatever that you pass in here, right? So for this one, query select, it will only return the first element that matches, yeah, the class name or the ID, whatever, right? So for us, we wanna select the two items. However, this query selector is a bit more uh heavy, is it's a bit advanced, so it needs to know what is these to do items. Is it an ID or is it a class name, right? So you need to indicate here by using the period to do items. So now you have the to do's in here, right? Let me do this, the command to do's from our web page. We also have to select this the input value constant input document dot query selector. Oh no, what is this? We is under add form, just like how you use it to select these items or these text in your CSS file. You can use it, it works similarly like how you use your CSS, right? So you just say add form, and then we are selecting the input, and then also the add to do button, document dot query select. Oh no, I left the equal sign. And then we add, so we have the input, we have the button, and we also have the UL here, right? So what happens when you click this button add to do? So we're gonna say button dot we attach an event listener on it, right? So whenever there is an event of click, what must happen? So you can simply have an anonymous error function like this. So every time this button is clicked, whatever is in here will be executed, right? or you can still have like the classic function, like function like this. It still be the same. And also you just, or you can also have something like add to do, right? Reference a function. So we're gonna have a function, right? Add to do, and we're gonna have the event object, because here the event listener, because this is like a callback function, so this callback function will get the event object, and then we can prevent the default behavior of this button click, because normally let me do this. So you see, when I click, nothing gets submitted, right? So let me remove these. When I click, you see this page reloads because it's a form submission. So we don't want that. We're gonna prevent it from happening, right? So also we need to check if uh the value, there's something, because sometimes you can just press this add to do while there's nothing in here. So we need to check if there's a value, and then if there's something, then we can proceed. And then the values in here are here, the input value, right? We're gonna say the input dot value. Let's use this. So if there's nothing, let's just use console dot log input a value, else create to do. So we have a function now called create to do, and then this will take the input value. Cool. So what do we need now is we need another function called create to do. Let's have it here, function create to do, which takes in the input, or let's just say it takes in to do. So what's the first thing that we need to do? We need to have a, let's start with creating the list item that we can append on our unlisted list, right? So let's say constant new to do, we're gonna say document create element, right? What's the name of this? What's this element, right? What's this element? This element is a list item. And then we need create a new list item, and then we need to give it a class name, right? You can say new to do dot class list dot add, and use a function called add. And then what's the name of the class name you want to give it is called to do item. Or alternatively, you can say new to do dot class name, and then you just concatenate, right? To do item. These two lines are actually the same, right? So yeah. So also, after creating this li, we still need to we have two things here. This is the value, and then we also have a delete button, right? So let's do that. So let's create a new function, I'm not sorry, a new button, delete button. Let's say create element. The is element is button. Also this delete button has a class name, right? You can say class name is delete what? Let's check. it's called delete to do. Okay, delete to do. So we need, so now we just created it. These elements are not yet on our web page. We just created these, but they are not yet appended on our web page. So we need to append this button. But also remember, this new to do has to have a value, right? Or has to have a to do, which is the value we passed in here. So let's do that here. Let's say new to do dot inner text, which is to do, and then on this new to do we need to append a new HTML tag on it, and that this is a button. Where's the button? It's called the delete btn. Cool. And then now we have a list item with the value and then the button, so we need to append it on this list, right? So let's say we have it here, we have the to do, so we're gonna say to do's dot append. We appending this new list item, which is called new to do. Is this all? Okay, let's see. So we have it. Oh, we forgot something, right? Do you see we have the button, but it doesn't have the X? So we come here with the button. So we are here, say delete button dot inner HTML or inner text, and then we just give it the X. Okay, cool. Everything seems to work. But here's something interesting, right? So whenever you click this button, something has to happen. So whenever I click this button, I have to delete this, right? So I need to attach an event listener to this button. So let's do it. Delete button, add event listener, and then we're gonna listen on click event, and then we need to do something when it happens. So we need to call a function that is gonna, sorry, that's gonna delete that list item. So we say delete list item. So this function will be called when this button delete gets called, right? So let's have a function called delete list item. Function delete list item, and then similarly we're still gonna have you see here we had this event object, right? We're gonna have access to it. So let's just test now. Let's just, yeah, this is basically it. However, so let me show you something. So when you click this button, this delete list item button, so whenever you click it, something interesting needs to happen. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you now. So let's go to, let's inspect, right? So you can just simply right click and inspect. Go to console, let's add this, and then when we click it, we see we are getting this object. So we're gonna use this object to know, because now there are different buttons here. So when I click this one, I must be able to delete this one. So when I click this one, I must be able to delete this list item. So this object will help us to do this. So let's go to target with T. under target here, we have almost every detail we need about this list item. So let's say this button, we actually gonna have access to this button that you just clicked. So if I click this one, I'm gonna have access to everything about this button or this one. So once I have access to this button, I can simply say I want to delete its parent tag. So the parent tag of this button is the list item. Cool. So let's see how that one goes. So let's simply push it back to its normal size. Let's say we want to delete delete li is the event, oh sorry, it's the event dot target, and we this target is the button, so we want its parent node. If you didn't see it, let me go back here. Let me open the inspect. It's taking a bit too long. So under the console tab here, you're gonna see we have a pointer event, right? Okay, under target you have a bunch of things in here, but we have something interesting called parent. Let's go to P. We have parent node or parent element, which are simply the same thing. So if I want to target the parent node of this button, I'm just gonna say parent node or parent element, right? So once I selected that, let's go, because we just selected it here, right? So let's close the inspections. So parent node, so I need to delete this from this list. Oh, this is interesting. So I go to do dot, let's check the functions. Do we have something called remove? Here is it. So this will remove this function called remove will remove this list item from this unordered list. So let's say delete li, but then let's make it a bit interesting. Let's use there is a function called confirm, which will prompt the user to let me show you. It's gonna prompt the user to respond with a okay or cancel. So if we say, do you wish to delete this item? So if the user clicks okay, which is true, this uh this block here will execute, else nothing will happen, right? So let's move this code in here, this line of code, and then also we need to remove these ones because we were just using them for the mockup. So let's remove them from our HTML. Cool. Let's say do the dishes. I don't know why I like saying do the dishes. Do you wish to delete this item? If I say cancel, it shouldn't delete. Let's say if I delete, bingo, I have it deleted, right? I also want to do the dishes. Okay, something weird is happening. So something weird is happening because I'm trying to add the do the dishes to do again, but it doesn't do it. So let's head back to our JS and try to find what the problem is. Okay, there it is. I used remove. It should actually be remove child, because what remove does, it removes the to do's from our DOM. So that's why when we try to edit, it can't add anything because the to do's has been removed. So yeah, you actually need to remove child. So let's try again and see what happens. um let's say cook dinner. Cool. So do you also see, once I added to do, it actually should clear the input, right? So let's go up here. After create layer in here, input dot value should be empty. Do the dishes. Oh my god. Cool. Do you see now it got removed? Cook dinner. Cool. So let's remove do the dishes, and then let me say link up with friends. Yeah, now it's okay. Cool. Yeah, I think it seems like everything is okay, but then here, let me try to push this button here, right? So let's head to our CSS. Justify content. Justify content and spacing between. Oh, display flags. I was surprised why it didn't change. Yeah, now it seems like everything is cool. So subscribe to my channel, please, if you haven't done so. And also hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. So yeah, shout out to you guys for watching my video. Thank you. I'll see you next time when I drop a new video.